All right, let's talk about something that trips up almost everyone learning English: quantifiers. Words like many, much, few, and little. They seem so simple, right? But they cause so much confusion. Well, today, we're on a mission. We are going to crack that code once and for all. Let's get into it.
So, does this look familiar to you? I have very friends. I bet you've heard it, or maybe you've even said it yourself. It feels like it's almost right, but something's a little off. This is exactly the kind of grammar puzzle we're going to solve together today.
And here's our roadmap to get there. First, we'll figure out exactly why that first sentence doesn't work. Then we'll jump into the big ones: many versus much, and few versus little. After that, we're going to uncover the secret power of a single letter, learn how to talk about problems, and finally, we'll build your very own quantifier toolkit.
Okay, first things first, that common mix-up. Why can't you say I have very friends? Well, the answer lies in what I like to call the master key.
It's actually pretty straightforward. See, the word very has a specific job. It's an adverb, and its only purpose in life is to pump up adjectives. You can be very good at something, or have a very nice day, or feel very cold. It describes a quality, right? Not a quantity. To talk about the amount of something, we need a different set of tools.
And to pick the right tool, you need the master key. It all comes down to one simple question. Is the noun you're talking about countable or uncountable? Countable nouns are just what they sound like. Things you can count. 1 friend, 2 friends, 3 friends. Easy. Uncountable nouns are things like concepts or substances that you can't just count up, like time, water, or money. You can't have 1 time, 2 times, not in the same way. This one idea, countable versus uncountable, is going to unlock everything for us.
So let's put that master key to work. We'll start with the classic duo: many versus much. Okay, so here's the basic rule. It's super simple. Many is for your countable nouns, the things you can line up and count. Many friends, many chairs, many people. Much, on the other hand, is for the uncountable stuff, the concepts, the liquids, the things that flow. Much time, much water, much money. Makes sense, right?
Well, for the most part, yeah. But because English just loves to keep us on our toes, there's a little plot twist when it comes to the word much. It's a rule that trips up a ton of learners.
So here's the secret. Much is kind of shy. It doesn't really like to show up in positive, affirmative sentences. It feels most comfortable in questions and negative statements. So you'd ask someone, do you have much time? Or you'd say, I don't have much time. In those situations, it's perfect. But what if you do have a lot of time?
In positive statements, your best friend, your safest bet, is a lot of. I have a lot of time. And what's cool is that a lot of works with everything, countable and uncountable nouns. It's your universal problem solver. Fun fact, the source material actually points out this phrase is a lot like the Portuguese bocado de, which means a piece of. So when you say, I have a lot of time, it's kind of like saying you have a good piece of time. Neat, huh?
Okay, that handles large quantities. Now let's switch gears and use our master key for small amounts, with few versus little.
You guessed it, the exact same logic works here. Few is for your countable nouns, things you can count, like few friends or few people. And little is for the uncountables, like little time or little milk. It's that same master key concept, countable versus uncountable. But of course, there's another sneaky layer to this. And this brings us to one of the coolest, most subtle things in English, the A difference. Just by adding the tiny letter a in front of few or little, you completely change the vibe, the whole feeling of the sentence.
So when you use few all by itself, it's kind of a downer. It has this negative, pessimistic feeling. It really emphasizes what's missing. If someone says, I have few friends, it sounds like they're sad about it, like they wish they had more. It has a lonely connotation.
But check this out. Add the A. I have a few friends, and boom, the entire feeling just flips. It's suddenly positive. It means, hey, I have a small number of friends, but it's great. It's enough for me. You're not lonely anymore. You have some friends. It's incredible how that one little letter can totally change the meaning, isn't it?
And this works exactly the same way for our uncountable words. There is little milk, feels negative. It's a problem, we've basically run out. But there is a little milk is positive. Hey, great, we have some. Maybe not a lot, but it's enough for a coffee. Negative versus positive, all depending on that A.
So let's make this even more practical. How do we use these words when we're talking about everyday situations, especially when a quantity becomes a problem?
It's really useful. when you have a problem of excess, there's just too much of something, you use too many for countable things, like too many cars on the road, and you use too much for uncountable things, like too much traffic. Now, when the problem is the opposite, a scarcity, not enough is your go-to. And it's super flexible. It works for both. There are not enough books, and there is not enough snow.
Wow, we've covered a ton of ground here. So let's wrap it all up and put everything we've learned into your personal quantifier toolkit. This is your code cracking summary.
And here it is, your ultimate cheat sheet. Everything starts with that master key. Is it countable or uncountable? If you're talking about a large positive amount, a lot of is your friend. For large amounts in questions or negative sentences, you've got many and much. For a small amount with a negative vibe, it's few or little. And for that same small amount but with a positive happy feeling, a few or a little. And finally, when you're talking about problems, it's too many, too much, or not enough. See? It all fits together.
So what do you think? After breaking it all down piece by piece, does that code feel a little less intimidating? It might seem tricky at first, but once you have the keys, it all starts to make sense. I really hope you're feeling a whole lot more confident with these words. Thanks for cracking the code with me today.